Let's go to card number 3. Do you have your card out? Cool. And we're going to do the Irish potato famine. Can you put that up? And it was 1845 to 1849 in Ireland. So let's put it up. Okay. And what happened was Ireland is an island. It's right next to England. The English Parliament ruled Ireland. England's king ruled Ireland. And wealthy people from England owned most of the land of Ireland. And the Irish people were tenant farmers. So throw up a picture of their houses. And so these were people who worked on land that was owned by someone in England. And they got very little wages, and they had to pay back a lot of their wages to afford to live in the house that they were renting that was on the land where they worked. And so things were going along okay, and they were farming barley and wheat, and they were raising livestock, and they were taking all of these things and they were shipping them back to England. And that had worked for years and years and years and years until, let's do a dramatic pause. The potato famine came, the blight came, and the blight was in the form of a mold. So can you throw up a potato plant? And the mold was called Phytophthora. Let's throw that up because that one's really hard. Phytophthora, and it arrived from North America, and it was a mold that attacked the potato plant. Well, potatoes grow underground, so let's throw up a potato with blight. So potatoes grow underground, and you don't necessarily know that they have the blight until you're ready to harvest them by picking them out of the ground, shoveling them out of the ground, and they were mushy and they were worthless to eat. So all of this great food is going back to England, and the Irish have potatoes to eat, and they ate a lot of potatoes. That was their main diet. It was perfect weather to grow potatoes in Ireland. But when the blight hit, they had nothing to eat. And so many Irish people starved to death. And during this time, they kept on going to Parliament in England and asking for help. And so Prime Minister Sir Robert Peel, can you throw him up? He allowed the grain to continue from Ireland to Great Britain, but he did what he could to provide relief for them, and he authorized that corn be brought from the United States to help feed the Irish. But what the British Parliament did was they put the burden on the absentee landowners. So the landowners who lived in England were given the burden of feeding the Irish people. But when the potato famine hit, the Irish people weren't working as much because they were starving, and so all of the crops went down, and so those people in Great Britain didn't have as much money to feed them, or were reluctant to do so because they never saw them. It was just kind of like, I don't know these people. And so they did, but then they started running out of money and kind of running out of patience with this, even though the Irish people were starving. And so it says that in 1838, the Poor Law, so throw that up, in Britain, was enacted in Ireland, and it was people were sent to workhouses rather than given famine relief. So they were trying to find ways to feed them, but it wasn't out of kindness and love. It was like, well, then you have to go to a workhouse. And these people were literally so hungry, they were starving. And then the British gave assistance to, they gave loans to set up soup kitchens, and they provided employment on road building and other public works. But the Irish did not like the cornmeal because it led to nutritional deficiencies. They were not getting enough nutrition from the cornmeal. And in August of 1847, as many as 3 million people were receiving rations at food kitchens. It's a lot of people needing food from food kitchens. And these were